Olympians, Saturday.
Four teams remain, led by first place Kevin Martin of Canada. Norway's Paul Trulsen is the second seed, the surprise of the tournament. Andy Schwaller of Switzerland finished in third place. And fourth, reigning world champion Peja Lindholm of Sweden. The men's semifinals, it's Switzerland versus Norway, and Canada takes on Sweden on the road to gold. Welcome to the ice sheet in Ogden, where Canada's Kevin Martin will take on Peja Lindholm of Sweden, the reigning world champion, the only man to put a blemish on his record during a week of round-robin play. And that game went to an extra end, a game in which Lindholm and his teammates played well, and Canada's Kevin Martin, although he played well, saw a couple of his teammates, particularly Don Bartlett and third Don Walchuk, struggle. But Kevin Martin has vowed this will be a different Canadian men's team in the semifinal game. I think Martin had an appropriate answer in response to the question about not beating the Swedes for the past 6 meetings. He said, if we go out today and curl 90%, we'll let the cards fall where they may.
Well, I think he's going to have to curl 90% to beat Peter Lindholm and his team. I'm going to refer to Peter quite often. It's Peja Lindholm, of course, and this team is very, very experienced. Probably the most experienced rink in this competition, including Kevin Martin. And they have come through tough game time and time again in semifinals at World Championships, and this really is no different.
It's a big semifinal game, and we have seen Peja Lindholm stand on his head before to beat Kevin Martin, really coming up with huge shots, even when his team misses his shots. And looking at, 4 Canadian stones, Peja Lindholm would come down and make a perfect freeze, things like that. I really think today, though, that the Canadian team is due. I think it's time for them to relax, and if they can possibly relax in this sudden death semifinal, we're going to see them play very, very well.
Carter Rycroft was the top shooting second, and when he came off the ice after their final round draw and saw that their opponent was going to be Sweden in this semifinal game, he said, let's go get them.
But it's this man right here, Kevin Martin. He's the guy that needs to relax, to let himself perform, let himself rise to the challenge of whatever Lindholm throws at him. And he's seen a lot of different stuff over the years.
Yes. And whatever his team leads him with too. That's always the question, is what am I going to be facing? And Kevin has to maintain an even keel, and he's one of the best in the world at doing that. So I don't look for Kevin to be too inconsistent today. He's always been good, and he has been consistent throughout this week.
He was the top-ranked skip. Third, Don Walchuk, the top-ranked third. Carter Rycroft, the top-ranked second. Rycroft at second stone by a large margin over Magnus Swartling of Sweden. 87% during round-robin play for Rycroft and 73% for Swartling. Peter Narup, the lead for Sweden, was back at 73% during the round-robin. Don Bartlett struggled in a couple of games. As I mentioned, the one against Sweden that went to an extra end, he curled just 60% in that game. He was 77% overall and ranked number 7.
Both of these teams will play very aggressively early in the game, as opposed to what we saw this morning in the women's semifinal, where both teams were very conservative.
And by virtue of his clear first place finish, Kevin Martin does have last rock on the opening end.
In watching Team Canada play all week, they play very aggressively, throwing rocks in the free guard zone the very first end. They've had some messy first ends. They've been in trouble in many of their games in the first end, looking to give up steals or being forced to difficult shots to get their 1 point.
Take it back, guys. Take it back.
And in the game against Sweden, Kevin was forced to throw a angle raised takeout off his knees to score 2 points.
And you'll hear of a lot of communication during the course of this game. The Swedes talk a lot. The Brushers are always communicating with the skip, Peja Lindholm, and you'll hear Don Bartlett saying a lot and giving advice to Kevin Martin as to the weight of the stone.
Well, I really don't think any other team explains situations better than the combination between Kevin Martin on the back end and Don Bartlett on the front end.
Peter Narup coming around the center guard and tapping back the Canadian stone, and he gets a roll. Martin is now called for a stone from Bartlett at the top of the four.
Hard line.
We explained this morning the
Hard
weather
line.
conditions outside. It's
Line's
been
good.
raining,
Hard line.
causing a lot of
Line's
extra
good, guys, on the way.
humidity.
Go then, go! Lots of room! Lots of room!
Extra humidity affects
Finish it! Go!
the ice.
Go! Right up!
And the ice makers will counteract that extra humidity and the extra heat in the building by perhaps keeping the ice colder. And when you turn down the temperature of the ice, you'll see less swing than what we have seen all week. There's been wonderful movement on the majority of the sheets of the ice here in Ogden.
Working on this stone, delivered by second Magnus Swartling. Is he on the guard? Yes, he gets a rub.
Låg i så länge.
And you mentioned Don Bartlett as the great communicator on Team Canada. Magnus Swartling's the guy for Peja Lindholm in this team. He is the constantly yelling as he sweeps down the ice what the weight is, and he is as good as there is in the business at the second position.
Hard. Okay. Whoa. That's fine. Whoa. No.
Just hit it thin.
Hard. Whoa. Ah. So I can hit it thin.
Die. Okay.
The tap back by Carter Rycroft. Canada has shot stone in the 4-foot. He's the youngest member on the ice in this semifinal game. He's only 24.
Certainly has been a star this week. Carter Rycroft curling 87% through round robin, completely dominating the field. Clear 8%, which over a number of games is a lot.
Bra jobbat, Mange.
The roll just across the Canadian shot stone. Canada still lies one.
Where Carter Rycroft was dominating a second, Magnus Swartling actually struggled a bit. He had some of his games that were in the 60s, in the 50s. Overall, a 73% for the week.
Only one bad game for Carter Rycroft, and that was in the extra end loss to Sweden, where he only curled 72%.
Hold if you can. A lot of room, hold if you can.
Curl a mile.
Line's not bad.
Hard! We're just 8 foot. Hard! Come on, let's finish it. Hard! Quick! Gotta be second shot.
Shot.
Canada now lies two.
This end setting up very well for Kevin Martin.
Nej. Antingen skjuter vi eller dör. Kör den va. Vilken fart vill du ha? Sarg. Ja. Sargfart.
Mike and I were talking earlier about how important the first end is for Kevin Martin. They're great front runners. If they get a lead on a team, how much they can dominate the play for the rest of the game.
Working on the delivery by Thomas Nordin. A hit and roll off the shot stone behind cover on the button.
Beautiful weight control from Thomas Nordin.
he's throwing.
Don Walchuk in the loss on the extra end to Sweden in round robin play curled 55%. I spoke to him after, and I don't ever remember curling 55% in a game.
Line's good. Line's a little tight. Okay. Line's a little tight.
Gotta go.
Okay.
No, weight's close.
Hard line.
We're there. We got the weight.
Hard line.
Lots of weight. Hard. Heavy. Hard. Hard. Never off.
No.
That's fine. Whoa, that's good, man.
Just a bit of a rub, and you could hear Bartlett constantly saying, the weight's good. We've got the weight.
And just some discussion in the house, like Kevin Martin accidentally knocked the yellow stone that is in the back 12-foot, and just saying to Peter, just replace that where you think it went. No big deal.
Looking for a normal weight hit and roll here from Thomas Nordin.
Sitting right there, and they're lined up now for Don Walchuk's forte, the double. Or do you play the double at this point?
Oh, I think he has to play the double. That stone on the button is well buried. Question is whether he can keep a shooter or not.
Remember, Canada has last rock on this opening end by virtue of their first place finish. Top red, back red, both go out. Canada lies 2.
Almost overcurled there. Great sweeping by the front end.
Well, in the guard, I got no chance. It's good.
I know that Peja Lindholm and his teammates are big hockey fans. I don't know whether they had an opportunity to see the game that took place in the quarterfinal, the loss to Belarus earlier. I didn't have the courage to ask if they'd seen the result or watched any of the game.
Peja Lindholm and his team are so focused when it comes to events like this. I doubt that they were watching, nor do they have any interest in the game. They're very, very good team. They need to stay here. You wouldn't want to bring that back red stone into, or back yellow stone into play and possibly leave Kevin Martin an opportunity to lie 3.
Martin is indicating a hit and roll over to the other red.
Yeah, we got to stick around, though.
No, I mean, play this tap.
Yeah, but if you roll too far, it's no good.
But it doesn't matter. How's he going to get this one out?
Play the hit and roll.
I think we play the hit and roll, then. Okay?
Well, we'll be behind it. Oh, okay. Just to hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shot rock.
Yep.
Starting to curl, make the double.
Yep.
I won't throw this very hard.
Okay.
Other members of the rink make suggestions, particularly Don Bartlett.
Got to be a bit careful. Even if we stick around, he's got to be careful.
If you go back to that one and tap it out, what's he going to do?
Depends if we roll out or not.
You're not going to roll out. You're playing hack weight.
I don't like that call.
Okay.
As I said, other players, particularly Bartlett, make suggestions. Kevin Martin makes the final call.
I agree with Don Bartlett here. I don't want to leave him a roll, is what Don said. You hit and stick or just flop just a foot, you'll give Peja Lindholm almost the exact same hit and roll behind cover to get out of trouble.
Post.
Hard. Yep. Hard. 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 Whoa.
Canada lies 2.
Peja Lindholm has to play the hit and roll. You forced his hand. He may make it very well, though. And Kevin Martin will have to draw for his 1 point.
This has still been a much more comfortable end for Kevin and his team from what we've seen in the round robin. They've been looking at 2 and 3 enders, and finally they've started off on the right note here and are forcing Peja Lindholm to make a good shot, or he will end up giving up 2 points.
If you're watching our coverage for the first time, you'll see this man take a lot of time in the hack before he delivers his stone. Quite in contrast to Kevin Martin, who gets in the hack and boom, the stone's gone. A roll, and it is going to roll into the 12, so it's a draw for 2 for Kevin Martin.
Or a double for 3.
Double for 3.
And this is Kevin's bread and butter. Big weight hit and roll in for 3 points. Even if he noses it, he'll probably still get his deuce.
And again, watch the difference. Martin as opposed to Lindholm. Martin cleans his stone, and the rock is on its way. A possible 3 on this opening end, and what a great start it would be for Canada's Kevin Martin.
Get on the roll!
Did he move it far enough? Yes, he did. The smile tells you the story, and a great start for Kevin Martin. 3 on the opening end. We'll be back with end number 2 after this.
On March 8th. Swing! Do it with style.
This is just damn exciting.
Do it with grace. Do it with brooms. Men with brooms. In theaters March 8th.
Our dad's gonna build us the coolest treehouse. Cool. Yeah, he can build anything.
I'm in trouble here.
May I help you?
Yeah.
He can do that? Yeah, he can do that.
I don't have a clue what I'm doing here.
Well, let's see what you got.
He can build anything.
Never built anything before.
Well, relax. I think you're in the right spot.
He wants a trap door, a ladder.
Balcony, rope swing.
And these are the hinges you're gonna need. I'm gonna suggest 16 penny. Do you have a hammer?
No. Is that a bad thing?
He has about like 10 saws.
11.5 pounds. Feel it. It's really easy.
You sure I can do this?
He's a genius.
Trust me.
All right.
Dad?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cereal with their strawberries. Introducing new Special K Red Berries with a crunchy new flake and strawberries right inside the box. Special K Red Berries.
The new Vector Energy Bar. Eat or be eaten.
Dreams. They can give us hope. Hope to make the grade. Hope to be brave, to win against the odds. Sometimes it's just hope to do your best. In every community, there are dreams full of hope. RBC Financial Group, supporting Olympic dreams since 1947.
To play the ultimate winter game, you must possess skill, strength, and really big stones. Men with brooms. In theaters.
Lots of room, Don. Whoa.
A great shot by Canada's Kevin Martin with the final stone of end 1. He had the option of drawing for 2 or trying a double for 3. He chose the latter, was right on target. And with a 3 on the first end, Kevin Martin has really taken control in this Semifinal game against Peja Lindholm of Sweden. The only other time that Canada scored 3 in the opening end on Sunday in their first place showdown with Paul Trulson of Norway. Canada went on to a 9-4 win in that battle for first place. And speaking of Paul Trulson, he is playing Andreas Schwaller of Switzerland in the other semifinal. And Norway with last rock blanked and won. And they are playing the second now in a scoreless tie. This end started with a big double by Don Walchuk, and then Martin finished it with a big double.
And you see the smallest mistake from Peja Lindholm. His shooter rolling too far in that last end resulted in that opportunity for Kevin Martin. And that is the danger of playing against these guys, is that they're such strong throwers, particularly on the big weight doubles and takeouts, that nothing is safe.
Okay.
You heard Kevin Martin say to Carter Rycroft, good throw, Pinsy. That's the nickname Carter Rycroft has acquired since he arrived in Salt Lake City.
They won't tell us the story behind it, though. Something worth noting is just how up this Swedish team is. They're not deflated with that big opening 3. They're right back at it. They're giving high fives. They know that there's 9 more ends to play, and they're going to give it their all. I guess that's the experience as well. They've played in a lot of international events.
Well, Martin and Lindholm first met internationally in the semifinals at the World Championships in Bern in 1997, and Lindholm won. And since then, he has had Kevin Martin's number, including round-robin play here at the Olympics.
Lid here. What? Good throw lid here.
What? What's he saying?
Feel it.
It's fine.
Martin suggested putting a guard on top of the red stone. His teammates disagreed.
Good. Throw.
What would have been the reasoning of Kevin Martin in asking if they wanted to play a guard on the top of the red stone that was just removed?
Well, Peja Lindholm's guard stopped in a position that was really in a good spot if he needed to steal. So by putting a second guard out there, he was going to go for the gusto and try to take 2 more points here. But I think with a 3-point lead, that's plenty for a team that can hit like Kevin. That was a great shot there by Thomas Nordin. There's no double available. And Kevin might be concerned a bit about these 2 yellow stones.
Can I get them both across the top?
At the back of the forefoot.
Pretty tough, though. I don't know. This thing's going to have some extra jam on it that direction, right?
Okay.
I doubt it. Feel one.
Walchuk asked if he could get both of the red stones coming across the top.
Nobody knows their angles better than Kevin Martin does. And if he doesn't think it's going to go, it won't go.
Yep.
Hard. Whoa. Good shot. That's really good. That's excellent.
Redstone sitting in the 4-foot second shot belonging to Sweden. A dejected Julie Skinner, the Canadian women's third, with her husband Dean watching the action, and also watching this men's semifinal is second Georgina Wheatcroft and her husband Mark.
I admired these women for coming out and supporting the men's team so soon after a very huge disappointing loss.
They'll be back in the ice tomorrow morning for a bronze medal game against Carrie Erickson of the United States. It will take place at 11 Eastern Time tomorrow morning. And in case you missed it earlier, it will be Rona Martin of Great Britain who beat Canada's Kelly Law against Lucia Ebnotter of Switzerland for the gold medal. Thomas Nordin apparently having some problems with his wireless mic, so the officials stopped the clock. There is an official timeout called by the supervisor. You cannot call timeouts to confer with coaches, however, under international play. You have 75 minutes allotted to each team per game, no timeouts.
I saw the amount of time that Thomas Nordin and Peja Lindholm spent trying to figure out where they can throw this draw without leaving Kevin Martin a double. They have such a respect for this Martin team and the big weight they can throw so accurately.
Maybe put it behind the hack.
Oh, the only place that it might be safe. That was a good spot there. Kevin Martin, to play the double, will risk jamming.
Even if you just hit and roll.
So known as yellow.
You're jamming on there?
No.
Huh?
No, we don't need to hit it that thin.
You want to
hit it?
hit
And roll. I'll make sure I'm not too.
Okay.
I think even if he
Make
does
sure we don't
jam
hit
it,
too thin, so.
he will remove the one that Thomas Nordin just threw anyway.
Hit and roll would be nice. No.
Kevin thinks he can hit this hard enough
Hit and roll's
and
fine,
roll
too.
over and have the red spin out the back of the rings, which is definitely there for someone who can throw it as hard as Kevin can.
And Don Walchuk's warning was, let's just don't play this too cute and jam the red stone onto the yellow.
Kevin said he wouldn't hit it too thin.
Get on the back one. Go, 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 hard.
A hair thin.
But the one on the side of the 8-foot went out with a huge amount of speed, and he could have afforded to hit that quite a bit thicker and made that double.
Om vi gör det så lär ni bara skicka den så. Ja. Ja. Ta lite mer is. Bra
Kelly
jobbat.
Law.
Jämnhöjd med igen. Drar vi ut dem på kanten.
Out here in support of the Canadian men's team along with her husband Bruce. And you see Diane Nelson and her fiance Grant Desura also taking in the action. So all four members of this Canadian women's team, disappointed as they are at their semifinal loss, supporting Canada's Kevin Martin in his quest for a gold medal.
This would be a fairly easy shot against any other player than Kevin Martin, because they have to be so precise where this stone stops to not allow a double takeout. They want this exactly the same depth in the rings, and they did a very good job of doing that. And all credit to the sweepers, Peter Nareff and Magnus Swartling.
Kevin Martin's final stone of N2. Still one to come from Peja Lindholm.
Hard all the way. Hard. Right up. Quick. Quick.
And it's going to be a draw for 2 for Peja Lindholm to get right back in the game after Martin took 3 on end 1.
And a great confidence booster for the Swedish team. After giving up 3, it was critical that they scored 2 with the hammer here in the second end. Being down 2 points without the hammer and going into 3 would have been a disastrous start.
Lindholm came into Olympic competition as the reigning world champion, having defeated Andreas Schwaller of Switzerland last year in the World Championships in Lausanne, Switzerland. Found himself in the same position going into Nagano in 1998. He was in a tiebreaker with Tim Somerville of the United States with a record of 3-4. He lost the game and went home bitterly disappointed. He draws to the back of the button to pick up 2. And with 2 ends complete in this semifinal game, it's Canada in front by 1.
The 2002 Olympic Winter Games on CBC. Brought to you by Monster.ca. Proud to help Canadian Olympic athletes find rewarding careers. And by Petro-Canada, helping our Olympic athletes since 1988.
Over 150 years of brewing tradition goes into each and every bottle of Labatt Blue. As it turns out, not everything happens out of the blue. Introducing the tough, versatile Saturn Vue. At home in almost any environment.
The dairy farmers of Canada are really, really proud to stand behind the Canadian Olympic team.
Future Shop service specialists install more than hardware and software. They install possibilities. Because life's full of great moments. Why not upgrade them? Future Shop. You'll like what the future has in store.
A CBC special report from Royal Canadian Air Force.
We are closing in on this man, but we need your help to narrow our search. There have been several reports that place the suspected terrorist on Coach's Corner. From Salt Lake City, Utah, as captain of the two-man luge team. And this sighting just in, Osama has been spotted in Regina as a Walmart greeter.
Air Force returns after the Olympics with all new episodes. See them at 9 o'clock on CBC Comedy Friday.
We're back en route to curling coverage with an update from the East, or actually this is Provo, I should say, the Czech Republic, Russia, second period action. Maxim Afinogenov scores the first goal of the game. Former Buffalo teammates. Afinogenov beats Hasek from Zhamnov and Nikolishin. The shots were 16-8 the Czech Republic in the first. Javi Bulin's been tremendous at the other end. And here's an example of that as Yager starts the play. Robert Lang gets one crack at it, and then Javi Bulin covers up. One more look. Habib Bulin perfect. Afinogenov has beaten Hasek, and that's where they stand 13:58 into period 2. Don Whitman.
Well, Ron, back at the ice sheet in Ogden, a steal on end number 2 for Andreas Schwaller of Switzerland has him in front of Paul Trulson of Norway by a score of 1-0. And here it's a 3-2 game. Canada's Kevin Martin leading Peja Lindholm of Sweden. A big 3 on the opening end, but Sweden came right back with 2 on the second. We were eavesdropping on an interesting conversation that Don Bartlett, the lead, was having with the other 2 members of the team during the break. He's saying, we have to watch Kevin. Just don't let him get too confident on his ability to make absolutely everything, regardless of how difficult it is.
And he was referring to that double call on Kevin's first one. And to a certain extent, I agree with Don in the sense that overconfidence against this Peter Lindholm team could be fatal. However, I didn't think it was a bad call. I thought, you know, either you play the double or you whack the open one, and both options were very makeable for Kevin.
Well, to score 2 against Kevin Martin without anything behind guards, without any cover, is quite a task.
It's next to impossible. I played Kevin a number of times over the years, and it's so hard because it's not only Kevin that throws the big weight doubles, but also Don Walchuk does, and Carter Rycroft as well.
Line's good. Okay, whoa then. Got a lot of room. It'll finish though. Looks like lots to me. Oh, we can't afford to be by it. Hard then. Oh, come on.
And Don Bartlett told Kevin Martin exactly where this stone was going to be. He said the 8-foot, and that's where it comes.
You see all these rocks in play, and a lot of them around the center line, which Peja Lindholm is very happy about.
But I think Martin anticipated that stone might curl a little more and get partially buried behind the red.
He was certainly hoping to get it a little more buried, or corner frozen on the top red also would have been a good spot.
A double possibility now for Magnus Swartling. Are they by the guard? Yes. And out go both Yellowstones, and Sweden lies 2.
This game is so far from over. Kevin Martin is going to have to score a lot of points against this team, Team Sweden.
Well, it won't very, very good this way.
Oh, they're peeling the guard. I'm surprised they're not trying to draw in around again with Carter Rycroft.
That little short raise is pretty appealing too. You could make the angle raise and have the yellow stuck right behind that long center guard as well. This is a sign of respect.
Fine.
Kevin Martin respecting the ability of this Team Sweden.
It's an interesting scenario here in the third end, with Peja Lindholm being able to manufacture that deuce right back. For Canada to score, and how many they score in this end, to build on the momentum of the 3-ender. If they can only get 1 point, Peja Lindholm can come back with 2, and this game starts all over again. So it's huge how the result ends up in this third end.
They lie 3. And there is a chance for all 3 to be removed from the rings by the man who can throw a stone with a vapor trail behind it, Don Walchuk.
And as triples go, this one's pretty easy for a man of Don Walchuk's abilities. Anything on the broom side of the red stone at the top of the 12-foot.
You can tell how good Walchuk is when we're all so surprised when he doesn't make these shots.
It's really not an easy shot, but he makes it look so easy.
Hard! Whoa!
What will be the end result? 1, 2, 3. There they go.
the slightest mistake from Team Sweden in positioning of the stones, and the end is over for them. They would have wanted to force Kevin Martin into taking a single point, and it's going to be very difficult now.
Thomas Nordin wants a hit and roll, but he'll roll the wrong way.
Needed to stay there too, because now gives Kevin a free run at this come around, or a split.
Now, if there is a weaker part to Don Walchuk's game, it is in his draw ability, and the numbers after round robin play, his hits are at 84%. His draws were at 69%.
And particularly this week, he's really struggled. Normally, Don's numbers with the draw game are not that different from his take-out game, but he has really struggled with weight.
Okay, line's okay.
Weight's not bad.
Okay, wall, got room.
Just 12 foot.
Okay, whoa.
It's a good bit of information. The line's okay, the weight's okay.
Go! Go! Where's it goes, Kevin? Come on, baby.
Poor line, really. Just didn't curl enough.
Sorry.
That's right.
Didn't curl.
Just a little light. They had to hammer it all the way.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Chance.
If he had a little bit more weight in this,
leave that darn thing, it would have busted right in.
that's, I agree with Kevin Martin.
Great shot in the first one. That's the kind of double I had to make. I guess.
Vi tar beräkning, för helt klart, det säger tiden också att det går trögare uppåt.
He has room for a or for a hit and roll here from Peja Lindholm. Roll behind that yellow guard. Think about playing Kevin Martin. You'd think a hit and roll dead buried is a good shot. What the problem is, it leaves Kevin a straight back raise and to stay buried. So you almost want to roll about half buried.
The final stone of the Norwegian-Swiss match from Paul Trulson, looking at 2 yellow stones. And the first stone of the end on the split screen from Peja Lindholm. He doesn't get an inside roll. Paul Trulson will draw into the forefoot, right to the button to get a single point. And he ties this game at 1.
Just watch this shot. Peja Lindholm. There was something underneath his rock, a big piece of debris, and he actually had to kind of shake the rock before he released it. He was very fortunate to have been able to put that rock back on course and make the hit. And Team Canada is cleaning furiously the path in which the Sweden stone had just gone down.
Down normal. Whoa, whoa. Right up.
Whoa.
Right up.
Whoa.
Right up.
Whoa.
Right up.
Whoa, get on the
right
roll.
Up. Go. Ah.
There is no roll.
Gee, it's close. Just had to finish. Hair.
We have talked earlier in the competition, and you have made reference to it several times, Joan, about what a technician Kevin Martin is.
He's constantly analyzing his own shots, his own releases, and the releases of his teammates. But like as I said before, he has to analyze. Don Walchuk is not a technically perfect thrower, but it's one of consistency, what to expect from each of his players.
Kevin he constantly asks the question, why? Why didn't that rock perform the way I thought it was going to? And when he misses a shot, it's never because he missed. That's why he changes rock so often, because he does throw it so well that sometimes it just isn't an explanation for a miss.
Lindholm gets a roll in behind the Canadian Yellowstone. And Martin now is going to be forced to play a draw to pick up 1.
And this is a moral victory for Sweden, forcing Kevin Martin to
Only
take
a 1-foot raise.
This looks like a very easy blank to me.
For a blank?
Yeah, blank or 1, right? Same thing, right?
All right. That'll run nice.
Turn, intern.
I like this call.
Don Walchuk talked him into playing the raise. Initially, Martin had positioned the broom for a draw.
And the draw is the safer shot. There's no, theoretically, there's no risk of missing the 8-foot at this level. And you're sure to score your point. for most curlers, the raise is a much more difficult shot. But in this case, I don't think that is necessarily true. Kevin Martin is so accurate with these big weight shots.
Trying to raise his own onto the red, trying to blank the end. He does. Well, Martin was convinced to play this shot by Don Walchuk, and the reward is retaining hammer into end number 4.
Seconds remaining in the third period.
Okay, waiting for Salmon.
Just pause it for a second.
Here we go, the final.
How are we doing? Thank you.
Face off, won by Canada.
Watch what you want, when you want. Go. Pause live TV with the personal video recorder. Only from Bell Express View.
When I look back, I realize if I had made that one decision differently, I might not have made it to the Olympics or the World Championships. When I look back, I'm grateful that I gave my life to skating and not to smoking.
This year, over 45,000 Canadians will die from tobacco. That's why it's critical to take strong action to reduce smoking.
Tobacco, we can live without it.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Coming to CBC Sunday morning. CBC News Sunday.
What we're trying to do is make it more personal for people.
Singing and dancing is my job, and is there a place for that after September 11th?
We have the ability to add a dimension to the author's story. We have a chance to really examine the world on a deeper level.
Media, politics, spirituality, ethics, accountability are what we want to address.
CBC News Sunday, a new weekly current affairs magazine, premiering Sunday morning.
If you're a talented musician, or maybe your voice is your instrument and you're looking for a break, opportunity is knocking with CBC's Great Canadian Music Dream. Check out the contest rules and regulations at cbc.ca Music Dream or call 1-888-303-5172. If you're as good as you think you are, you could win your own television and radio special. So start practicing and get your career going with the Great Canadian Music Dream, only on CBC.
Closed captioning is happily brought to you by Trident. It takes 17 muscles to smile, or one stick of Trident. Choo, choo.
All or nothing. Canada's shooting for gold. It's medal round intensity, and only the winner moves on. Olympic men's hockey.
A large number of Canadian fans are in attendance at the ice sheet in Ogden this afternoon for the semifinal game between Canada and Sweden. There is a smattering of yellow in the stands as well. I don't know how many spectators are here supporting Norway or Switzerland. They are playing on the sheet closest to the spectators, and at the moment Switzerland is lying 2, and they have last rock, playing this fourth end in a 1-1 tie.
I hear the Hop Suisse in the crowd, so there's a few Swiss fans out there.
That's a cry you didn't like 4 years ago.
I still have nightmares. And we'll be hearing a lot of it tomorrow in the women's final.
Kevin Martin has gone up to the red rock belonging to the Swedes that just made it across the hog line, the first stone from Peter Nerup, and he has asked Carter Rycroft to run this one.
Hard, guys. Hard. Hard. Okay. Even if you bury around it, I don't think it's...
And Kevin's still explaining the rationale to the Dons, Walchuk and Bartlett.
This is a much more comfortable end for Kevin Martin this time. Needed a couple of doubles, couple of raises, and of course a triple by Don Walchuk to get out of that last end with a blank.
A bit of a contrast to the weird round-robin game they had on the very first end. Kevin Martin slipped coming out of the hack from his knees, threw a shot that resulted in a score of 2. Here they're making the shots they're calling.
It was a very strange game because then Peter Lindholm turned around and made one of those fortunate shots on his own as well to get the points that he needed to tie the game. It was a very strange, entertaining, very entertaining, but
you never knew what was coming next.
You
that's
never
for sure.
knew, exactly.
But the only thing that wasn't attempted in the game was trying to bounce them off the dividers.
In the round robin game, we were talking about how long that this Swedish team has played together, and it's just unbelievable. Peter Lindholm, Peter Narup, Magnus Swartling, basically starting the game together as young curlers at 12 years old and staying together the whole time.
Now they've been together for 20 years. Thomas Nordin at third is the newcomer. He's been with them for 10 years. And for the past decade, they have been consistent performers at the international level.
They're one of a handful of European teams that every Canadian team knows they have to play their very best against to beat. They travel to Canada quite often and are quite good friends actually with a lot of the top competitive curlers, including Kevin Martin's team.
All right, Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot. Joan asked you the other day when we were driving to the rink, how would Lindholm do competing at the Brier, or if he was a regular on the cash circuit in Canada?
Well, he wins a lot, and he's already won Cashfield, so we know he can do that. If he was in this year's Briarfield, he would be one of the team's favorite to make the playoffs. Absolutely.
I have to point out Thomas Nordin throwing his rock through here again in the fourth end. This was something that was one of the weird things that happened in the round robin game.
And I'm not sure if they're trying to save time or what the reason is for that call, but
I think that the whole idea is that they're afraid to put it anywhere up front in the house, in the top house and the back house, that Kevin Martin's team will nail a perfect freeze on it and get their 2 points.
There's only one stone in play, and Martin is attempting to utilize it.
So he's coming through, eh?
Yeah. Wait, no, calm down.
Try it, shot.
that stone almost backed up as it came into the rings there. It just did not finish very well.
Huh?
What I mean by that is it stopped curling and actually almost went back in the opposite direction as what you would expect from the intern.
Yeah. Up the ski slope. Tough to get it over to the biter.
Up the ski slope, he said.
But when was the last time you saw the third deliberately fire one through the rings?
Well, in the round robin, it was the skip that deliberately threw his first one through a race. It was just took me completely by surprise. I didn't expect it.
And I take back my earlier comment about the only thing they didn't do was try and play one off the sideboards. Kevin Martin, in blanking one of the ends, did throw it against the sideboards.
Bra.
Just a wide open draw for Kevin Martin, trying to figure out a way to get behind that corner guard.
I don't know if mine will get in there. I doubt it.
Carter, right, girl.
We talked about the shot in the first end by Kevin Martin in the round robin game. A smile on his face from his knees. He throws the shots and watch the result. Bang, bang, the carom into the center. Canada 2.
Very few players would have played it that way.
Including Kevin.
Good result for Kevin.
And I like that he went up to Sweden's team afterwards and said, "I'm sorry," because that was just the biggest fluke of all time. As you said, Mike, many Canadian curlers know this Lindholm team.
Not only they're very good players, but they're also really nice guys, a bunch of great guys. And pleasure to play against. They know the proper etiquette, the proper rules, and they're very competitive, but very, very fair out there, and they want you to perform your best. They don't mind beating you when you're at your best either.
And they're a little bit of fun. They've been known to, you know, have a chuckle or two.
And they probably play more games during the course of a year than any other European team. They're up around 100 games most seasons. And Kevin Martin will again be attempting to blank as he delivers the final stone of this fourth end.
Again, these are seemingly routine shots, very simple shots, but if Kevin was to make a mistake and nose hit this one, Sweden would consider this a victory. And they are going to take the hammer into 5, feeling very good about themselves. And I'm sure that they'll be throwing all kinds of guards up next end, regardless of what happens here. They don't want another end like this.
Whereas Kevin Martin's team would be very comfortable playing out the rest of the game with ends like this.
Kevin Martin's final stone of end 4.
Hard, hard, real hard, hard.
The removal of that red rock is required to retain the hammer.
Hard, hard. Keep going.
Not quite. It just hangs on the 12 for a single point. And while Canada has a 2-point lead, Martin has relinquished the hammer to Peja Lindholm.
Should hit that quite a ways off these two.
On March 8th, swing! Do it with style.
This is just damned exciting.
Do it with grace. Do it with brooms. Men with brooms. In theaters March 8th.
Canada Post employees, to all those dedicated athletes who inspire us, congratulations.
To play the ultimate winter game, you must possess skill, strength, and really big stones. Men with brooms. In theaters March 8th.
How do I like my pogo? I like them just fine. Mustard, ketchup. Inside, outside, anywhere, anytime. So how do I like my pogo? I like them just fine.
Pogo is the original hot dog on a stick wrapped in a delicious corn batter. Enjoy it any way you like. Pogo. If it's not written on the stick, it's not a real pogo.
Trudeau, March 31st on CBC. Trudeau, March 31st on CBC.
Back here on day 12 of the Winter Olympic Games, quarterfinal day in men's hockey, and a prime-time nightmare for the Swedes. His name is Andre Mazin. The goaltender for Belarus robbed everybody in sight. 44 saves as Sweden outshoots Belarus by a score of 47-19, and with 2.5 to go, this long shot by Vladimir Kopot eludes Tommy Salo. Maybe the best angle is net cam, where you see somehow Salo loses this in that black background, and a shocker. They say it's the worst upset since the Swedish soccer team lost in the World Cup in 1936, and the players who weren't dressed that day came home wearing signs saying, "I wasn't playing." They had said after they beat Canada, 60 minutes that made Swedish hockey history. Today, it's Belarus's turn as the Belarusians win by a score of 4-3 to eliminate Sweden. The other game that's on now is in the third period, just underway, and Maxim Afinogenov has the lone goal. The Czech Republic has outshot Russia 25-18. This time it's Nikolai Habibulin with the hot hand, and a lot of people forecast that. So, Czech Republic is trailing the Olympic champions on the ropes in that one. Canada-Finland tonight, 8:15 local, 10:15 Eastern. Back to Don Whitman, Joan McCusker, and Mike Harris.
And a shocker in curling this morning, Ron, as the heavily favored Kelly Law rink lost to Rona Martin of Great Britain in the semifinal. And now Kelly Law and Diane Nelson, watching this men's semifinal, have to refocus on their bronze medal game tomorrow morning at 11 Eastern time on CBC television against Carrie Erickson of the United States. The gold medal game, Lucia Ebnater of Switzerland against Rona Martin. It will be seen at 4 Eastern time tomorrow on TSN. Canada has the shot stone as they attempt the steal, sitting on the button. A red stone in front of it and a yellow Canadian stone just outside the rings.
And that's the dangerous stone for Team Canada, is the red stone. That is second shot. It's in a good position for Sweden.
I like Kevin Martin's chances here right now in this fifth end, however. Throwing a second guard on that row of stones along the center line.
Hard line. Hard! Top 12. Hard to get by. Hard to get it by. Hard to get it by. Whoa, hard. Oh, over there, Robin. Oh, right now. Whoa! Great shot, Carter.
That is a great shot. And you heard Kevin Martin all the way encouraging them. Hard to get it by, and they kept bending those brushes.
Gå på tärsen här, ner så.
And the important part in this end is Don Bartlett's placement of his stones. He's had an uncharacteristically bad week. Don Bartlett, the lead, is normally, right on, draw away to placing his stones, and he's had trouble. He's been overthrowing, not being able to hit the broom. So it's important in this game that he concentrate very hard on his shots.
Ja då. Vi kan få ner den ända hit då. Köra den.
Initial call from Lindholm was to come through that port with back 8-foot weight and tap the red stone back into the 4-foot area. They've elected to play the peel, I believe, run that yellow straight back, try to chip out the yellow stone that Carter Rycroft just threw.
Task assigned to 31-year-old Magnus Swartling. Straight back, and he gets movement on 2 stones. Canada still lies shot.
There's a high corner guard. The red stone is now behind, however. So now second shot is opened up a little bit. Kevin looking at a guard. We'll watch to see if that red stone at the side of the 8-foot might come into play later in this end.
Canada has had success in stealing points throughout the competition. 20 times Canada has been able to steal when they have not had last rock.
Anyway, room. Wow! Leave it. Has to curl. Wow! Tight in. Yeah, well. No, just tight. Okay, stay close. Coming down. Yep. Really coming down. Hard. Way now. Whoa. Yep. Well, just trying to choke it off. It's fine.
And always Don Bartlett yelling down where this rock is going to stop. Where is it going to stop? Yelling that information to Kevin Martin so he can make a decision.
With the final stone on end 4, Andreas Schwaller of Switzerland was able to draw for 3. And he has jumped into a 4-1 lead over Paul Trulson of Norway through 4 ends.
Sweden looking for the run back here. Same shot they just threw. Or they hit a little on the high side. They'll make the double on those 2 guards. 2 good options.
Bra spel, Thomas. Bra grabbar. Bra spel, man. Mycket snyggt.
Can't guard. Okay.
Huh?
Can't see anything of it. Kevin's asked for a light backline tap on that red
I don't know if
stone.
it'll finish or not.
I can just see this much.
Let's give it a go. If you kiss the guard, it's not the worst.
First indication was a freeze, which I didn't mind either.
Up.
Never.
No.
Never.
Off our own. Yep. Hard. I was trying to come off.
And you heard Martin indicate why he called for the brush late.
Didn't like it.
Canada has stolen points on 20 ends.
Now look at this call. Lindholm going around the corner guard. That was his first indication.
Normal kan bli för lös.
The double's also there and hit and roll Barry.
Skulle kunna gå så här med en renhållning. Alternativt en dryg normal. Kör renhållning.
That double and roll looks pretty tempting. They could actually have a chance to score 3 here if they make this shot. They'll have 2 buried with only 2 Canadian stones left to come.
Thomas Nordin with his final stone of this end. Top yellow, back yellow. Will it roll far enough to go out of the rings? Yes.
Det är bra spel, Thomas.
But his shooter also rolls out. And now Kevin Martin will attempt to come down to the red stone in the 8-foot.
Det här som är så svårt i början när man spelar de här ställena. Man vet
Well, after watching Don Walchuk's stone sail right through the house, Kevin will not be trying to bump. He'll be trying just to freeze. Corner freeze on the inside of that red stone.
Just freeze. Yep. Line's nice. All the way there, Don.
Lots of room. Tons of room. Right out then.
No, line's okay. Freeze.
Right out.
Line
Lots of
free.
room. Tons of room. Just for weight only.
Line's good.
Whoa. Whoa.
Freeze.
Whoa.
Whoa. Hard. Just freeze. No bounce.
Just for weight.
Whoa. Wow. Whoa.
That's a miss. That rolled off of that red stone.
Vad tror du om isen då? Så.
The problem for Lindholm is it's so straight, it's going to be difficult for him to get across the face of this stone in the ring. So he's going to want to just tap it back, roll the shooter in, and see if he can nudge this yellow stone into the back of the 12-foot. Any weight at all, it just runs dead straight.
Trycker ner där och vickar bakom själv, grabbar.
That mission is not accomplished unless you can move the Canadian stone into the back house.
They need to lie 2 after this stone. If he makes it perfect, he has a great chance of scoring 3 here.
It's not surprising that it's Sweden, Canada, Norway, and Switzerland in the semifinals at the Olympic Games. These were the same 4 nations that played in the semifinals at the World Championships last year in Lausanne. And only one team is different. Kevin Martin has replaced Randy Ferbey. He has to go tight to the guard. He's on it. Peja never stops shouting instruction until that last brush stroke is made.
Well, he really was afraid of it running too straight and looked like he tried to get it turning right out of his hand and just started it on a bad path, that's all. And now Kevin Martin has a easy opportunity to come down, hit, and perhaps roll over a little bit and force Sweden into scoring their single point.
Kevin Martin just talking about Lindholm's rock curling so much, and Mike and I have talked about this before. These two teams from Sweden, the men's team and the women's team, can get their rocks to curl more than any other team here in the way that they release their stone.
Yep.
Canada lies too. But right into the pocket of those two stones, they will go, but will the shooter squirt on through?
I don't think there's any blank there.
Martin doesn't think there's any blank.
Again, if anyone would know, it would be Kevin. They're so even that it'd be very difficult to spin everything out. You'd have to throw it a lot of weight, have your shooter come down and start spinning back up out of the top 12 foot. And I don't know that Peja Lindholm's comfortable throwing that much weight.
Or taking that chance with a lot of the game left.
There is a possibility of hitting this a little too thick and rolling across the top of that stone.
Well, he is going to take one as he moves both yellow stones. And on this fifth end, Peja Lindholm picks up a single point, but still trails by one at the midpoint of the semifinal game.
So you have to do the ironing, but you'd rather be snowboarding. Why not do both and make a little more free time?
Ooh, and they smell mountain fresh.
Whatever you do to free your time, Blue Light salutes you. Blue Light, free your time.
Everything about traveling has changed, but our signs have. You'll find them near all your favorite places, even the ones you haven't discovered yet. Choice Hotels. When you're out there, keep an eye out for our new look. Call 1-800-4CHOICE or visit choicehotels.ca.
Canada and Finland tied 2-2. A marvelous tournament.
This is amazing. No. Is your internet access always as fast? Of course. Oh, this is awesome.
From the face-off, it's back to the point. Shooting.
The best time to go fast is always. Order Bell Simpatico High-Speed Edition today. For a limited time, pay $24.95 a month. Plus, get a free self-installation kit.
You see that Air Force show last night? Very funny.
I didn't think they were on anymore.
You call yourself a Canadian? 9 o'clock Fridays. Meter off, park the car, I watch Air Force.
Oh, right, 9 o'clock now.
Sing the song, you never forget. Air Force Fridays at 9. Come on, sing.
Air Force Fridays at 9. Watch the road!
Air Force returns after the Olympics with all new episodes. See them at 9 o'clock on CBC Comedy Friday.
8:50, please.
Make it 9.
9.
Tom Stone has had some bad luck. But when the RCMP gives him a second chance...
He's the next cop.
I work better alone.
To keep the file, you're gonna need him.
That luck is about to change.
Look, are you interested or not?
Got a license to kill?
From bad to worse. A new series following the Olympics.
Hello, Marina.
Hi.
I can come back.
No.
Tom Stone begins with a 2-hour series premiere Monday at 8 on CBC.
The 2002 Olympic Winter Games on CBC. Brought to you by Labatt Blue, on the road to gold with Canada's Olympic team. And by the Real-Time Multi-Pack Plan. Your connections, your time, go.
This is a Canada Now news break. Defence Minister Art Eggleton is currently being grilled before a special Commons committee. The opposition claims Eggleton deliberately misled Parliament about when he discovered that Canadian commandos had captured prisoners in Afghanistan. But the minister says he made an honest mistake.
Let me state emphatically that at no time have I intended to mislead the House of Commons. If that was the conclusion of some honourable members, then I indeed regret and apologize to the House and all members of the House for anything I have said that would leave such an impression.
The committee holding the hearing could recommend that Eggleton be expelled from Cabinet, but that would have to be approved by the Liberal majority in the House of Commons. A crowded midnight train near Cairo became a rolling inferno early this morning, killing more than 360 people. The fire broke out as the train traveled from Cairo to Luxor. Many victims died when they jumped from the train. Others were trapped behind window grills or died in their sleep. Dozens of people were treated for burns. One report says the fire started when a passenger tried to light a small gas stove. All of the dead are believed to be Egyptians. Most were headed to the countryside to spend a Muslim holiday with their families. At least 15 Palestinians are dead after a relentless Israeli assault against targets in the West Bank and Gaza. Israeli helicopters fired on Yasser Arafat's West Bank compound overnight, but the Palestinian leader was not hurt. In today's attacks, Israeli forces blasted Arafat's seaside office in Gaza and hit Palestinian police buildings. The raids are in response to a Palestinian ambush west of Ramallah that left 6 Israeli soldiers dead. A senior leader in Arafat's Fatah faction warns the Israeli action will only lead to more Palestinian ambushes. Some Ottawa school children got a chance to trade their pocket change for Canada's latest silver dollar today.
Newest, shiniest, brightest, and most amazing new silver dollar for the Golden Jubilee!
The Golden Jubilee coin was unveiled at Queen Elizabeth Public School. 300 students were then urged to exchange their dimes, quarters, and loonies for the new silver dollar, which commemorates the Queen's 50-year reign. In the spring, the Mint will unveil a special 50-cent piece honoring the Queen. More news later on The National, and now back to Olympic curling.
No, I'm on my way. If you can get it, that would be great. Hey? All right. Yeah. No, I'll call you. Good.
Excuse me, miss. May I help you?
No, thanks. I locked my keys in my car.
Actually, this is my car.
This is Cap Rouge, hometown of Patrick Bouchard, Olympic speed skater. It's my old town too. I'm a sports physiotherapist. First time I met with Patrick, he came in my office like this, barely walking straight, and we fixed him up. You can do that with a bad back. We have ice a great part of the year, so you might as well skate.
Check the score.
Okay. It's 2-all.
9.5
2-all?
seconds left, and a huge...
Sally, yeah, we're on the way.
Who's here? Everybody's here.
Here we go. Stepping up on the low, shooting.
Your connections, your time. Go. Introducing Real-Time Multi-Pack 30. Get 150 weekday, weeknight, weekend, and wireless web minutes every month. Visit Bell World or Bell Mobility today.
Next up on our tour is what used to be called the office. Sometimes they worked right through the night. They kept pictures of their families so they'd remember what they looked like. Questions? Yeah.
Where did the chains attach?
Actually chained to your desk was a figure of speech, but it might as well have been right here.
Toshiba, the world's #1 notebook computer with Intel processors. The notebook of choice.
In their world, they were family until business got in the way of brotherhood.
2 guys were here to kill you. I got over 100 people want me dead. Why should 2 more bother me?
The riveting 3-part miniseries, The Last Chapter, begins March 3rd on CBC.
Coming in March, the pursuit of excellence knows no limits. The world's top athletes with disabilities go for gold at the 8th Paralympic Winter Games in Salt Lake City, March 9th to 16th on CBC.
Welcome back to the ice sheet in Ogden. Semifinal play in the men's competition. Switzerland leading Norway 4-2 in one semifinal game. Kevin Martin of Canada ahead of Peja Lindholm of Sweden 4-3 in the other. Lindholm with last rock on this 6th end. Pardon me, Canada with last rock on this 6th end, as Lindholm was forced to take one on N5.
See that yellow stone back in the back 8-foot is the first come around attempt by Don Bartlett, and again uncharacteristically coming deep.
Oh wait, whoa! Line's pretty good. Just make sure we're there. Whoa, line's good. Whoa. Line's really good. Clean it. Whoa. Clean it. No. I want to get to the nose. Whoa. Great shot, Donnie.
Does that atone for the other one?
Well, it certainly does. You can hear the intensity in Don Bartlett's voice.
Hi, everybody in Canada. And
particularly those in Newfoundland?
Yeah, that's what he was just about to say. He certainly has, Don has struggled, as I've mentioned. And the funny part about that struggling is that he almost always is overthrowing. Like often when things aren't going right, you know, you go one way, you're short, you're heavy, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I have to say, in the last number of games that we've watched, Don is almost always heavy.
The 41-year-old Canada Post employee was born in Gander, Newfoundland, and he never fails to mention Newfoundland whenever he has the opportunity.
or nose. Yep.
And the nose hit is to drive that red guard back into the red zone that was just thrown by Sweden, and hoping to double all the red zones out of play.
Oh.
Not the result they wanted, as it took out the yellow and moved the red to the back of the 8.
Vi har två grejer. Vi kan skicka på där, vi kan garda.
You can hit the yellow or you can play the guard.
Så
Those
långt
are the
upp
two
som
options.
möjligt. Nära håll.
I am so impressed with your ability to translate languages, Mike. I never knew. Just in curling, though, hey?
For the most part, yes.
During round robin play, Sweden with a 6-3 record.
Ligger lite tight.
Canada 8-1.
Riktningen är bra. Bara röm. Upp. 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 Helt upp. Var beredd. Ner. Upp. Snyggt. Här är grabbar.
Maintained excellent separation on those guards. Double is there, but it's not all that easy.
The double peel is difficult because you have to throw a lot of weight because you have to hit a big chunk of the top stone to make contact with the second one.
The double raise is also there.
There it is.
That's a very good shot. Got Canada out of all sorts of trouble.
Det är det eller den. Om vi spelar på den, då kommer ju resten av spelet bli bakom tid. Det är okej, bara in på mitt grabbar också. Vi behöver inte rigga skott egentligen.
Such aggressive play from Sweden. That Yellowstone is shot rock, but they're really going after Kevin Martin here. They're trying to put the pressure on. They know they've got a good center guard out front. Let's get one in buried into the top 4-foot area. Because you know if you hit the back one, Kevin's going there anyway.
Ni har det. Ja. Bara det.
He's by the guard. And into the top of the 8.
That come around just in a perfect spot.
Well, it's an easy double. They said 3.
We line 1.
Could just peel a guard. I like that. Just peel a guard. Who shot rock? We are. But still, this is the bad stone. They can come around and bump it right straight back even. Why don't we do that? Well, I don't think we can bump it very far. That's the problem. Right now we're laying 1. Eventually he's going to have to make a play on it. They only got full 8. Okay.
Peel it onto that red one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hoping to get lucky, making the peel, and have the yellow shooter come kind of spinning into the rings.
Why not draw that one there themselves right now, Mike?
That's a good question. I wouldn't mind drawing in there to lie too.
Yep. Hard. Hard. One hits the back one.
Ooh, there was a concern that they were going to drive it back onto their own.
Some of the calls are reflective of Canada having last rock and that 1-point lead.
And they don't want to give up a steal. That's the constant recurring theme here in this game is they're up 1 with the hammer. As long as they don't give up steals, it's going to be hard for Lindholm to get back in this game.
And it's always that dance between playing to win and playing not to lose. And the decisions you make on one side of that coin and the other.
And if there's one team that plays to win, it's Peja Lindholm.
Well, they have to when you give up 3 in the first end against Canada.
Om vi tar den och de frysningen, så det spelar ingen roll.
Lindholm certainly knows how to play the game to overcome a deficit.
Bara fart! Ner! Ner! Ner!
Interesting, Sweden just decided to play a freeze here rather than hit.
Bra. Bra spel nu. Så när vi skickar. Det hade inte, de var inte åtdragen. Så nu är jag trygg.
Now we'll see Walchuk throwing a double.
And that's the problem with not bumping that Canadian zone out of play, is that the possibility of that zone coming back to haunt you is certainly there.
Haunt you as in Walchuk will play a double, Kevin Martin play a double or a triple, and all of a sudden Canada looks like getting 2. That's how quickly things turn around, even with this many rocks in play.
But first, the shot has to be made. Don Walchuk will make that attempt.
Never. Yep. Hard. Well,
missed the double.
Fine.
Canada lies 3 and 4. When he's been in control at the break, after 5 ends, Kevin Martin has been very tough.
Eller så kan vi typ dra mot den. Den tycker jag vi tjänar ingenting på.
The only loss that Martin suffered
Nej, det är ju inte det.
was against this team, skipped by Peja Lindholm.
Då kan han komma runt. Ja. Ja, för på det här sättet ser det ut.
You talk about the respect that these two teams have for each other. You know, Peja Lindholm has to think about, where am I going to put this? That it might put some pressure on Canada and not leave all those doubles and angles and easy shots for the Canadian team.
In the 6-5 X-strand loss, Canada was leading 3-2 after 5 ends against Lindholm.
Against a team with lesser hitting ability, you'd simply just draw in line 3, and Peter does not want to leave any yellow stones in play, so he's being forced to hit and roll over to the other side of the house.
Så vi spelar på att tvinga på en igen. Normal, och så vickar vi långt till höger.
From semifinal curling action, let's update quarterfinal hockey action. Here's Ron McLean.
Don, actually, you stay with us here because we're looking at split screen, and obviously we're at a crucial juncture in your game as well. But just to let you know, the defending Olympic champions are gone. The champions of '94, Sweden, bowing out in that stunner to Belarus. Now the Czechs have been ousted. There's Dominik Hasek getting a pat on the head. He was good, but he wasn't good enough. Maxim Afinogenov gets the goal. Nikolai Habibulin is tremendous. A shutout, including saves in that final minute that paved the way for Russia, the second lower seed to win today, to oust the Czech Republic. So that's where we stand. Still to come, the USA versus Germany. And Canada has a date with Finland later tonight. Don't forget the Finns beat the Russians in the preliminary round robin. And if all goes according to Hoyle, things are starting to pave the way for a US-Canada. This is looking ahead a little bit, but if things stayed on track, it would be a Canada-USA gold medal game. Here's Kevin Martin, Shot Rock. Don, back to you.
Yes, and I well recall how good Nikolai Habibulin was when he first came into the National Hockey League with the Winnipeg Jets. Kevin Martin gets 2 of the red stones. Salai shot.
Making it look very easy. Now Lindholm again is faced with a high pressure hit. He cannot afford to leave the shooter with a nose hit. That will give Kevin another double for 2. So he needs to roll this shooter over into the side of the 8-foot, and that will force Kevin Martin into a single point. But he does not want a nose hit.
What about the shooter? It is going to roll out of play, and Martin has the chance now for 2.
And there's that yellow stone at the back of the 12-foot. A big mistake by Team Sweden not bumping that out of the rings when they had the chance.
Now it's a question of whether or not Kevin Martin can capitalize.
What do you think? I like half right there. That should stay straight for quite a while. Worried about not enough ice? Okay, leave it where it is.
Not the easiest shot in the world here. Only about 2 or 3 feet to roll to with the shooter.
And once again, the challenge by Bartlett, the acknowledgement by Martin, but then he doesn't change his mind.
Real hard.
Hard! Hard!
Is it going to curl too much? Will they avoid a jam at the back? That's the problem.
See, clean.
And it's a single point only for Canada, and a 5-3 lead through 6 ends.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I just do that late.
Peja вернулся.
Господи, он же в Испании.
Наташа, что же будет с нашей любовью?
Я не хочу эту любовь.
Молчи, дурак!
Having difficulty getting RSPs off your mind? We make it easy. RBC Financial Group. RSPs made easy.
When I look back, I realize if I had made that one decision differently, I might not have made it to the Olympics or the World Championships. When I look back, I'm grateful that I gave my life to skating and not to smoking.
This year, over 45,000 Canadians will die from tobacco. That's why it's critical to take strong action to reduce smoking.
Tobacco, we can live without it.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Get ready for the most groundbreaking, earth-shattering, bone-chilling event to hit the Earth in 16,000 years.
Slalom, baby!
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Ice Age.
Hey, guys, check this out.
He's doing it for attention. Just ignore him.
March 15th, only in theaters.
This is Canmore, Alberta, home of Olympic cross-country skier Sarah Renner. I'm Barb, Sarah's mom, and this is Sarah's house. This is George.
I taught her how to wax.
This is where Sarah buys her groceries.
She's not a processed food kind of gal at all.
Crazy Weed, her favorite restaurant.
She loves the pizza, the salads, the flatbreads, the
lentils,
pasta,
salads.
yeah, everything.
Yeah, I gave her some tea to keep her grounded.
When Canada wins at the Olympic Winter Games, show your pride and show your Visa card. Because every time Canada wins a medal in Salt Lake City, there's more you can win. And every time you use your Visa card from now until the end of the games, you get another chance to win. When Canada wins, you can win.
Some things would be better if you could only slow them down. Like the taste of Bittner's Slow Roast Deli Meats. Bittner's, better because we take the time.
All right, quite a day in quarterfinal action in men's hockey already. Belarus has knocked off Sweden. The Czechs go down to the Russians. Up next in 20 minutes on TSN. What a day on the Sports Network for a hockey fan. The United States and Germany, and to be perfectly clear here, this U.S.-Canada gold medal possibility is just us talking in terms of the NHL and whether they go to Turin. Everybody was forecasting that. Obviously, the Russians through are no pushover. So the U.S. better be ready for the Germans. They're tough, and if they do win that game, according to the schedule now, it would be U.S.-Russia next. So That's coming up in 20 minutes on TSN. And, of course, on CBC, it's Finland versus Canada tonight at 10:15 Eastern. Eric Lindros is good to go. Pat Quinn telling us his shoulder's not a problem. Martin Brodeur will start versus Yanni Herme. We'll have full coverage from the East Center a little later on tonight. By the way, Germany has moved to the top of the medal standings with 31 today, 2 in the women's 1500. And Cindy Klassen was 4th in that competition. So Germany having quite a run, Don, and another Winnipegger acquitting herself quite well. Brian Williams will join us on primetime here shortly, but for the time being, back to the semifinals, men's curling at the ice sheet in Ogden. Don?
And at the ice sheet in Ogden, Ron, the spectators sit on one side and they watch a jumbotron on the what is normally a series of windows on the far side, but because of the curling competition, they've covered all the windows, but the jumbotron provides the spectators with basically the same view television viewers are seeing.
Alternativet är den frysningen igen. Det är bättre om vi kan få en sten hit. Vad säger ni?
It always seems in another language they're saying so much more.
Ja, precis. Alternativ är ju så.
Peter Lindholm and his team have got some decisions to make here. You can see the 2 yellow stones in the forefoot and surrounding that red stone at the top of the forefoot, and they're talking about whether to play an in-turn freeze or perhaps come down and jostle those stones around a little bit.
Bara en frysning där, grabbar.
They've elected to follow the same path down into that that pile of stones in the forefoot.
The shot just made by Carter Rycroft. Magnus Swartling attempting to come down the same line. Are they by the guard? He gets a bit of a rub, but still carries on to tap the yellow onto the red. Elizabeth Gustafsson, the 4-time world champion, with her Swedish women's teammates.
Yeah, we got to keep the angle right. That's a big thing.
Providing support for Peja Lindholm.
Boy, it's tough to get the right angle. We can't hit. We can't hit it. No. It's either guard, peel at guard, this isn't bad. Like this.
Is that yellow bars going right on
Hey,
there?
guarding their shot rock. That's the only problem. Could run that back onto it. I don't like hitting. Right now they got us. Just freeze another one in there. We'll bump it back then. Just a foot.
I like just playing the freeze.
You don't like the freeze?
Top 12.
Okay. All right. Freeze. Okay.
Carter Rycroft said he liked the freeze. Do you like the freeze, Mike?
I don't mind it. They need to just kind of rattle the angles around a little bit. All those stones are lined up very well right now for Sweden, so they're hoping to get this stone just slightly across the face.
Okay. Hard if you sweep. Well, it's not there, Carter. Got to keep it straight. Well,
as Kevin mentioned, you don't like guarding your opponent's stones, and that's what they've done here. Having said that, there's no real access into the button either. So Peja Lindholm also has a decision to make. I'd be tempted just to double those guards away because the angles are so good for Sweden right now.
Upp så pass mycket så de är låst. Då ligger det ju väldigt bra till. Ja, det tror jag enda sättet vi kan utnyttja det här läget. Ja, fast samtidigt så kan vi inte få något bättre av det. Då kommer ju de typ bara garda, så får vi dragningen för 2 ändå. Så vi kommer ju aldrig kunna få bättre än så här.
Can he afford to tap his own red back onto the yellow?
No, he can't. He has to leave those angles as they are because they are so good for
Vi
him.
kommer upp så snabbt som möjligt, Mange. Trycka här och ner hit.
The problem is, where do you put your next stone? There's too many, not too many rocks in play, but certainly there's enough stones in play right now that are helping you that you don't want to disturb anything. And you'd hate to set up some sort of double for Kevin Martin by coming in deep and changing angles up.
Helt upp. Var beredd. Helt upp. Aldrig. Ja, men nej, Norröv. Ja, ja.
Sweden still lies 1.
Didn't want to roll outside there. That will leave some sort of double in off that stone that Magnus Hortley just threw.
Give him a double in the back, too.
Yeah? Go for a skinny double.
Skinny double. Actually, skinny double, you might get him. Well, oh, jam. Hit that thin. They might all go.
You can hear the pressure, the intensity in all their voices. Deep breath after every discussion, or during every discussion.
Hit it too thick, though. No. Well, mind you, this is still safe back here. Yeah, that one's okay. Yeah. Okay. You want to do that? You want to hit this thing?
I was thinking of that skinny double.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dangerous, Don. You hit it too thin, take our own out. It jams right here. Yeah.
Well, we're going to leave the red one there, right?
Well, we might, and that's bad news if we do. You hit this real thin, though, it goes across the top, we get the triple. The big thing is we make these two, I guess, right? This thin.
Triple.
You like that? It's a tough shot, but...
Shooter comes down, off, back this way. The zigzag triple, very, very difficult.
It's either that or come in off of this. Can't afford to go thin because we could double jam it. Yeah. Got to make this. Thin double.
That stone on the outside is the one they're worried about because Sweden could come in off that stone and take out that stone at the top of the button.
We've seen Don Walchuk make a double. We've seen him make a triple.
This is very thin. If his shooter over curls, it could be trouble for Canada because he'll run the red stone right on the Canadian yellow stone top of the 4-foot.
Hard!
Tight.
Whoa! Oh, I don't know what to do with it. Get it up, 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 get it up.
Canada still has shot stone at the back of the 4. And one of the reasons they wanted that Yellowstone out of the way is they didn't want any possibility of an in-off.
That's right. Worked out pretty well for Kevin. That stone at the back of the 4-foot is going to be very difficult to get to. It needs to be moved about an inch or two.
Ja, eller 10-fart också.
Other option for Sweden, if they come by the guard tightly, they could rub their stone at the top 4-foot in for shot rock. So they're looking for T-line weight here from Thomas Nordin.
Yep. Yep.
Brushing to get it past the 2 guards out front. They get it by. Will he tap it back far enough?
Great
no, he's
shot.
going to come down onto the Yellowstone. And I think it is now shot.
They're sitting 1 for sure. What a great shot.
Very tight on the guards and the red stone that was in the top 4-foot.
You see it's about half buried. The danger here for Kevin Martin is overthrowing this and hitting the outside of that stone and rolling open, and that will leave Sweden an opportunity to score 3. That's 6 inches short of the rings, not 6 inches short of the red one. Anything short of the T line is in a good spot for Team Canada right now.
All the way there. Okay. Line's good. Yep. Wait, heavy. Line's good. Heavy. Okay, whoa. Whoa. Wait for it. Line's pretty good.
Wait's good.
Hard.
Gotta go for weight.
Gotta go for line.
We're there.
Oh, whoa.
We're there. Come on.
Hard.
We're there.
Hard.
Go, 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 go. I got it.
Tremendous shot by Don Walchuk.
That's a keeper. Excellent shot.
You'd say the same for Don Bartlett. He called that shot the whole way down.
You see the brushing. They were concerned about line early, and then the sweepers were concerned about weight. And the angle is perfect. The weight is perfect.
I don't know if they can get the yellow. You know what I mean? Without getting our back yellow too. Yeah, like that.
You know, you two talked about the intensity of this game. Kevin Martin was saying prior to this final, he said this is different from any other curling event. He talked about the atmosphere and how it is more intense than anywhere else. It's just so much different, and I think both of you can verify that.
It's absolutely the case. This is a chance for Thomas Nordin to pick this Yellowstone out of there. The double may be there on the two yellows.
He moved the shot stone out, but there is still a yellow at the back, but now the red shot stone belongs to Sweden.
So Kevin Martin essentially needs to replace that shot, if he could, in the same kind of position that Walchuk's was.
Just a half an inch thinner, and he would have made the double just strictly on the yellows. Would have been a great shot.
There's a pocket there that Martin wants to draw into.
Very key that that stone at the top 4 foot is now shot, however. Things have really changed. And even if he does get it in there nicely, that stone at the top 4 foot now has a much better chance of scoring. By freezing down to the back ones, it will allow Sweden the same shot opportunity. There is room for 2 or 3 stones there in the back 4 foot.
Don, you talk about the difference in this competition. The big thing is when you make a mistake, it's 100 times bigger here at the Olympics. It's magnified. It's made big with the media and with your own expectations.
Line's good. Okay.
Room.
Room. We're there. Whoa. 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 Stay up. Whoa.
Bartlett was calling the weight all the way.
Det är i sådana fall den. Frysningen här.
And it's so important to have the brushers knowing exactly what the weight is.
Well, without that communication, it's very difficult for the person in the house to call line.
But part of the trick with all that communication is taking a chance by yelling out as soon as the shooter throws what you think the weight is. And you may be wrong, and you need to keep yelling it out. And you'll see the Swedish team do that very well. They're always constantly yelling T-line, and even if it still is T-line, there's no change. They'll keep yelling it out just so that they know and can make decisions.
And you'll also see Don Bartlett and Carter Ruckoff sometimes yelling different information down. So one of them thinks it's good, one of them thinks it might be heavy. So if you're in the ring, you know it's not light. And that's kind of how I would filter that information out. If they're both yelling the same thing, great, that's even better.
Vi spelar bakkant runt. Kommer ner och så snabbt som möjligt och trycker för att få bak det där. Kommer vi i och för sig ge han chansen att slå vilka ljung. Men det tycker vi är okej.
Looking at a freeze here, Peter Lindholm.
Just wants to follow Kevin Martin's yellow stone right to the back.
Trailing by 2, he has last rock on this 7th end.
Up. 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 Up.
Shut up. Stand up. He's got shot rock.
What is very important there, too, is that he got that yellow stone out of way. So now that Kevin Martin only has one stone that's hanging around at the back forefoot, that is second shot, and he may have to guard it. You heard him say it. Can't risk coming in too deep and possibly giving up a chance for 3 or 4.
Throw a lid on the line.
Throwing a lid, a guard. If he does not, Peter Lindholm would be able to play the outside and perhaps get 4.
And you remember Don
right on the line.
Mentioned that in off the side. That will be there for 3 or 4 after this guard comes to rest.
We're assuming that the guard will be made if by some chance Kevin Martin's rock does not come in to the perfect line. It's an easier out turn tap back for a pile.
Hard line.
Hard early.
Hard line.
Hard early.
Hard
Tight.
line.
Hard.
Tight for line.
Hard.
They talk about sweeping it hard early,
Where is it? Halfway.
trying to keep it straight
Clean,
early.
clean. Just clean
Hard.
it.
Hard. Hard. Hard.
Kevin was looking for the wick off of the tight yellow guard.
That was very close to overcurling.
And that's what he's asking Peter Narup. Peja Lindholm is asking Peter Narup in the hack, how much can you see of the outside?
Kevin Martin said to Don Bartlett, it's totally buried.
But just totally buried. That stone could have been another half to 3/4 of a stone further out and done the same job. There is a possibility of throwing the same shot, back line weight, maybe scoring 3.
Ja, för den är ju lugn. För den kan vi ta en 4 på. Här hade vi så ungefär på förra. Vad tror du om där?
This yellow stone at the back of the forefoot only needs to be moved about 2 or 3 inches to score 3. And if you could ever move it out into the back 8-foot, score of 4 here for Peja Lindholm. Very, very tough shot. As Kevin mentioned, it is totally buried. But you can miss that yellow guard by a couple of inches and still get in there, I think.
Well, and Peja Lindholm has nothing to lose. He's lying shot stone right now that cannot be removed with this shot. So he has nothing to lose by gambling and playing this, and everything to gain.
And it's not even that big of a gamble because it's really his only option.
This shot has to be so precise.
It could be the biggest shot of this Olympic Games for Peja Lindholm.
Has to get across that 4-foot line.
Is it going to curl enough? No. And a collective sigh of relief from the 4 Canadian curlers as Peja Lindholm gets just 1, and Canada continues to lead by 1.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning. Good morning to you. When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Now the sun shines on its way. It's too late to say good night.
Where are you going to find your best insurance deal? Where else? Insurorama! 800,000 square feet of quality brand name insurance from auto to condo, from boat to business. Look, compare, choose from a huge selection. Everything is under one gigantic roof. At
Insurorama doesn't really exist, but we do. We're your independent insurance brokers. Your best insurance is an insurance broker.
A legend reborn. Cadillac CTS. Breakthrough.
Well, it's not really a mystery anymore, is it? Why our prices are such a value. When you actually make your own suits and sport coats, before selling them in your store, you control not only the quality, cut, look, and feel, but also the price. After all, when people leave here, we want them to not only look good, but feel even better. Well made, well priced, well dressed. Moore's.
What are you doing? I will pay you $100 for 15 minutes work. $100 for 15 minutes work.
So IT is fully staffed?
Yes, sir. Application development, hosting.
Hello.
It's all covered.
Need help with your IT outsourcing? EDS. IT outsourcing solved.
Last year, taxpayers received an average refund of $715. Did you get all you deserve? How will you know? To make sure you maximized your refund, H&R Block will double-check last year's tax return free. We can file an adjustment on past returns. You could get more money back.
Welcome back to the ice sheet in Ogden. With 3 ends remaining, Canada's Kevin Martin leads by a point. Peja Lindholm was trying for multiple points with his final stone of the previous end. He could have come closer to the guard. Watch the separation right there. Had he been tighter, he could have made the shot and might have picked up 4.
Well, he missed the guard by about 4 inches, which is a lot in that spot. And certainly with the weight that he had, 3 was definitely a possibility. And if the shooter could have stayed, would have been 4, but 3 would have been enough to take a 1-point lead here into 8 and really would have turned this game around.
A very good come around by Don Bartlett on his second stone. Is setting Canada up quite nicely here in the 8th end.
It'll be interesting to find out from Lindholm after this game whether or not he thought he could go tighter to that guard or whether he thought he had to stay maybe the 4 or 5 inches away from it.
Oh, no, he knew that he had to go by tight. There was no question. You're sitting in the hack, you know exactly what you need to do, and they never swept it the whole way down. It was wide all the way.
No, they wanted to come as tight as possible.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Yep. Hard. Whoa. Yep. Whoa, whoa.
Carter Rycroft moves the 2 red stones sitting out front, takes them out of play, drives out one of his own, but he got the job done out in front of the rings.
When you have last rock and playing in the 8th, that's a huge shot, clearing up the 4-foot area.
And even the one that was in the house that he took out and rolled the shooter way into the 12-foot was helpful as well. That was in the back 8-foot near the center line area. It certainly wasn't helping Kevin Martin at all.
Gärna Kala. Upp. Helt upp. Helst ingen ska ner. Helst absolut. Nej, aldrig.
Great freeze.
Right on top of it, the winner of this game will face either Norway or Switzerland. And at the moment, Andreas Schwaller of Switzerland is leading Paul Trulson of Norway by a score of 6-3.
Yep.
Rycroft again being asked to peel one of those center guards belonging to Sweden, and he does.
We talked this morning about Lucy Ebnother coming into the playoffs on very much of a high. Andreas Schwaller is in the same boat. He faced a tiebreaker had he lost his final round robin game and absolutely destroyed Germany to secure his spot in these playoffs. So they are playing very well.
After his 7-2 loss to Canada, Schwaller had a 3-3 record. Then he beat Great Britain, beat France, and beat Germany to advance to the playoffs.
The Swiss Curling Federation, I'm sure, is very pleased with their program right about now, looking like they have both their men's and women's teams in the gold medal match.
Bra, Thomas.
Clean. Hard. Yep. Clean.
Just a peel here from Don Walchuk.
Mission accomplished.
And at some point in the end, probably towards the end, Sweden will have to make a play on the top stones that are frozen.
Annars kommer vi fortsätta att garda och de slår. Och så på sista måste vi jobba på det här. Det är väldigt svårt att undvika att lägga upp en dubbel då.
The only word I understood was double.
I was just going to say the same thing.
I'm thinking that if I ever understood Swedish, he would be talking about whether we throw another guard or do we play this bump, but we might leave a double. How's that for a good guess? Those are the options. Continuing throwing the guard or to play the little bump back on Thomas Nordin's shot or wait another stone or two.
The danger is if you throw the guard, Kevin might decide to throw another guard, and then you're in trouble giving up two-ender here. I'd be surprised if Kevin did not peel this guard, however. Late in the game, up one with the hammer. Kevin can simply not afford to risk giving up a steal.
I would think what Kevin would do would be ask his team, do they want to? And I think his team would definitely say, no, let's hit.
No hesitation.
Well, clean, clean.
And now that we're into skip stones, we may see Lindholm now make a play on those two rocks that are frozen.
He has to be very careful. You can't make the same mistake that he did in 6, bumping that stone to the back hill. I think he has to bump it right out, roll the shooter as far away as he can, and lie to, and force Kevin to make a very difficult double. The question is whether he wants to do it now or on his next stone.
Vi är i och för sig då dragningen så. Kör den. Här har vi fått tidigare. Vi tar rödvitt.
So you're drawing around, Mike?
Klykorna är bra.
Possibly. I'm not sure what the benefit of that would be, though, however. Those two stones lined up so nicely at the top 8-foot. Kevin will just simply throw an in-turn peel and send that yellow stone straight back onto the Lindholm stone.
Kant till kant mot egen är bra. Så då har vi jobbat. Nu ger han i och för sig dragningen runt. Men det kan ändå lägga sig så vi kan plocka det.
Lindholm has had success at both the World Junior level and at the World level, winning a World Junior title in 1989 and a World Championship last year and in 1997. Kevin Martin, despite the fact that he has won a Canadian Junior Championship and 2 Canadian Brier titles, has never won a World Championship.
just a guard.
He's guarding half of his zone so that he has a come around if Kevin plays another guard, and he also has the in-turn tap. Perfectly guarded. You can see there now that Kevin has a decision to make.
Because if he comes here, all we gotta do is blast this. It's right onto him. I think we score one here, right? Choose a bonus. I know. Yeah, that's the thing. He noses this thing. Can we draw against two? Oh, we'll probably blast it. What do you like it? Right there. It's not bad. Here. If you want to take your one, you go here, right? But if you're going for two, go there. Just put the heat on. I mean, huh?
How do you get there?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be the same?
Or if we peel, if he doesn't quite make the...
It's an easy double.
It's an easy double.
I always like making the other guy make them. That's the way I always look at it. Okay?
It's up to you, though. What do you want?
That's okay. He's going to tap. If he doesn't do it right, we get two.
Just playing the peel. More aggressive play to try to score two would be to
game on the line, right?
play that shot. I like the peel. Cannot afford to give up a steal, and the only way to do that would be to leave that center guard in play.
I like the thinking. I like thinking through, well, he's got to make it. He's got the game on the line. We're in control.
Oh.
Play the safe shot.
And that comment came from Don Bartlett. Martin will peel.
Just to note the amount of time left on Lindholm's clock. They're always short on time, Mike. This Swedish team always takes a lot of time to make decisions. They do a lot of communicating. And as we've said before, Peja Lindholm himself stays in the hack and takes a lot of time to throw his rock.
It's very important that Lindholm hits this stone dead on the nose. He will lay two at the top. There will be a double there, but for Kevin to play the double, he'll have to throw with enough weight and on enough of an angle that a shooter will roll out of the ring. So he needs to stick this right on the nose. Shooter rolling an inch or two either way would be disastrous here in the eighth.
Lindholm's final stone of the eighth. Canada has last rock, leading by a point.
Great shot.
He had to sit right on top.
Bra, Thomas.
And the Yellowstone that he was frozen against went out the back end. Can Martin get two here?
I don't think so.
And if he can't get two, is it safer to draw for the 1 point?
Kevin doesn't think so, and that's the important thing here. He's throwing a shot that he's comfortable with. I would certainly draw just because I wouldn't feel comfortable throwing it this hard, but this is Kevin's strength.
Yep. The attempted removal of the two red stones. He's going to be close to getting them. He's got them.
You're right.
Oh, I know.
Tried to blank, actually, trying to hit that thinner.
His wife, Shauna, looks on.
Had to hit it thinner. He was right.
His father, Ab, and his mother, Bev, also watching the action. A 2-point lead with 2 ends left.
So you have to do the ironing, but you'd rather be snowboarding. Why not do both and make a little more free time?
Ooh, and they smell mountain fresh.
Whatever you do to free your time, Blue Light salutes you. Blue Light, free your time.
Dreams. They can give us hope. Hope to make the grade. Hope to be brave. To win against the odds. Sometimes it's just hope to do your best. In every community, there are dreams full of hope. RBC Financial Group, supporting Olympic dreams since 1947.
This is the curb that me and Natasha used to come to. Our whole entire world, this curb right here. We all lead up the curb, we all lead down the curb, we stalled on this curb. I look at this now and it's so small, but this was so big to us. Yep, Natasha and I challenge each other every single day, actually, on anything. Everything was a contest. Yuho from Japan, Natasha from Canada. Who'd have thought us skateboarding here every day would produce an Olympic athlete, you know?
When Canada wins at the Olympic Winter Games, show your pride and show your Visa card. Because every time Canada wins a medal in Salt Lake City, there's more you can win. And every time you use your Visa card from now until the end of the games, you get another chance to win. When Canada wins, you can win.
Olivieri, a fresh take on tradition. Discover our fresh pasta and sauce.
Coming to CBC Sunday morning. CBC News Sunday.
What we're trying to do is make it more personal for people.
Singing and dancing is my job, and is there a place for that after September 11th?
We have the ability to add a dimension to the Ogden story. We have a chance to really examine the world on a deeper level.
Media, politics, spirituality, ethics, accountability are what we want to address.
CBC News Sunday, a new weekly current affairs magazine, premiering Sunday morning.
Kevin Martin's family watching the action. His father, Ab, taught him to curl when he was 10 in Lougheed, Alberta. Kevin began skipping when he was 12, and he has continued to call the game, now in quest of a gold medal at the Olympic Games. On the previous shot, I don't think there was anyone in this building other than Don Walchuk who thought a triple was there when he threw his final stone.
Well, Kevin knew also, obviously, but certainly Don had the right sweeping call in mind when he said yes right away, and Kevin said, whoa. But you know, that's again the hitting strength of this team is so strong that you know I never even would have considered trying to blank the end there.
But Don Bartlett is the voice of reason on this Canadian team. As we went to break, he said to Kevin, if you were tied playing 7 and you got 2 in the 8th, you'd be happy, wouldn't you? And Kevin said, yeah. Well, that's where we are.
Yeah, he's the resident team sports psychologist, getting around in everybody's head and dancing around and making them in their happy place. It's true. Like, it's your perspective. It's the way you got to take the game. You got to put yourself in a spot that you make sure that you feel that you still have the edge.
Good. Throw, Carter. Right off.
And I don't know whether there's anyone who is enjoying the Olympic experience more than Don Bartlett. He's been attending events, and we have talked previously about the thrill he said he got when he delivered the first stone, the rock with the Olympic rings emblazoned on the handle. And it made him realize that he had achieved a lifelong dream, becoming an Olympian.
I think all 4 members, I know when I spoke with Walchuk before this event started, the first day that I had arrived here, and I said, oh, I bet you can't wait to play. And he goes, lots of time for that. Joni, I need to go to the opening ceremonies, and I can't wait for this and that. Like, very much enjoying the experience. And that leaves a double.
Just the slightest miscue.
It could be trouble, eh?
The reason he doesn't like the double is the shooter's going to stay on the center line if you miss it.
What do you think?
Cross the face.
Cross the face? Cross the face what?
The double.
This?
No.
No.
That way.
Like that. All right. You want to go for the double? Yeah. Okay. The big thing is we roll the shooter off. That's the big thing. Okay. Go in turn, though, right here. Yeah. Give you some weight. Okay?
Now, for those who may not be familiar with curling terminology, when you look at a stone and you talk about going across the face, what exactly do they mean?
Well, they're talking about the stone in the back of the house. Rather than hitting the stone on the nose and sending it straight back and flipping the stone out, they're trying to hit it on a bit of an angle over to the left side.
That's one way of getting the double.
Oh,
playing the carom off your own.
Very lucky on that. Very fortunate. This was not the way they were playing this, but they'll take it.
That's the first real break we've seen in this game for either team. Makes you feel good when that happens to you late in a game like this, when you needed a big shot. And even though it was a little bit fortunate, certainly going to add a lot of confidence to Kevin Martin as he goes into the remainder of this and into 10.
And
back 8 to lie 1.
You can just sense the intensity with Team Canada. They're not taking this lightly. They do have a 2-point lead, but they don't have last rock.
You can afford to try the run back here. You'll roll off if you miss it.
You can just tell they want every shot and every opportunity to remove red stones.
What do you think? Quite a bit of angle there.
Huh?
You know,
just gotta make sure of this.
Makes me chuckle when he says there's quite a bit of angle. There's about 2 inches
what don't you like? Hitting and
off
sticking
center
on the back?
with about 10 feet of separation. That's not a lot of angle for most teams.
Well, if you hit it just off the nose, now he's going around line 2 buried. Oh yeah, we can't hit it on the inside. That's for sure.
I like back line.
Back line, and if we hit the front one, not bad. No. Nope. Leave a couple of rocks in play. I don't like that.
Okay, let's make it.
Well, look, why don't we just peel? Make sure you're on the positive side.
Try on the outside, that's all.
So.
Easy as that.
Just make sure you're on the positive side. The final comment from Kevin Martin to Don Walchuk.
Hard! Whoa, whoa!
Can he drive it back onto the red stone?
Whoa. Finish! Hard! Get on that thing!
Just missed it.
Good. Good shot.
And that's why they played it on that angle, that if they did miss it, it was rolling away from the center line and not right on the center line.
Is it in?
Trying to draw this even in the house with that stone at the back 8-foot. Very precise draw here required, and sweepers are going to have to use their best judgment to get it back there. The other option I don't mind is leaving it right at the very top 12 and leaving a very sharp angle. That's a good shot.
Det är bra jogga, va? Snyggt.
I like that. That's thin.
They're overlooking at the double.
Roll in the middle.
All right.
Elizabeth Gustafsson here to support the Swedish men's team as well.
Yeah, she and Kelly Law came into the women's competition as gold medal favorites. Rona Martin disposed of Gustafsson in the first tiebreaker game yesterday and scored a major upset, defeating Kelly Law 6-5 in the semifinal today.
Yep. Hard. Oh, hard. 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 Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Hard. Whoa.
Great shot.
Perfect roll.
Good shot. Thanks. Har vi en alternativen där?
Paul Trulson has fought back with a deuce on 9 in his semifinal game against Andreas Schwaller of Switzerland. It's a 6-5 game, playing the 10th. Schwaller has last rock.
Vi har taken, vi har den och vi har den. Den tjänar vi
There
inget
is
på.
a few rocks in play over there on that sheet, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as the end progresses. Lindholm now is faced with a decision again. He needs to hit and roll back over into the area that his red zone was before, but the depth of the zones will change. The more you roll, those zones are getting closer and closer to even and making the double easier and easier.
Yep.
And if a double is there, Kevin Martin is always thinking about it.
Mange allt vad du har. Kom igen Mange, då sopa hela vägen så stannar.
They push the yellow out of the rings. I think it's out of the rings, maybe not.
Mange ändå, den hade inte stannat. Bra Thomas. Snyggt.
Oh, you want to try this?
Let's peel this.
Okay.
Is there any jam on the straight yellow? No. Might as well give it a go. There's no jam. It's only half. It's not bad again. When you have it in your mixer. Well, he freezes to our back one.
No double jam is what he means. There's no way he can leave.
He's not going to get more than 2.
Red line 2 here after he throws, as long as he makes contact with that red stone.
Kevin said he's not going to get more than 2. So Martin would come home with the hammer in a tie game.
Whoa! Hard!
Sorry. I was, that's a hard way to play it. I was playing it thick. Like, take your chances, but hit it thick.
Could brushing have made any difference on that stone?
No, actually had to curl another half an inch or so to make the double. Again, perspective is everything. Go back to Don Bartlett's comments. Say you give up 2 here, you're going to go into 10 with last rock, and that's all you could have hoped for coming into this game against a team as good as Peja Lindholm. Watch for this stone to be at the front of the tee line and create a very sharp angle for Kevin Martin.
But unless it's perfect, you know Kevin Martin will try the double.
But note the discrepancy in time. And those 6 minutes are basically the difference in time that Peja Lindholm takes when he's sitting in the hack as compared to Kevin Martin.
Over the course of a game. I agree. They're so used to playing with this with the time getting down like this, though the pressure does not get to them. They're used to having very little time left at the end of the game.
No hole there, is there?
Double's pretty thin.
Yeah, there's a hole. Jeez, I don't know, guys. That's kind of...
It's about an 1/8 of a rock.
With the brick coming home, not bad. Make the roll, man. Make the roll.
Kevin Martin indicated the hit and roll first. Coming in and rolling right directly in front of this one. His team, though, wanted to play the very thin double.
This double.
They were asking if there was a hole in between.
Hole there, but there is.
In between their own yellow stone, whether it's on or not, the one on the far right-hand side of the screen, and the red stone.
Half rock's gotta be darn close. Got lots of time.
Yeah, we do.
Half rock's gotta be close.
Kevin Martin will rethink his strategy with the final stone. His final stone of this 9th end, still one to come from Peja Lindholm.
Well, both Bartlett and Rycroft like the double. And I don't hate the double either. You're looking to make a hit and roll in there and prevent Lindholm from scoring two is very tough.
By playing the hit and roll, I think. Got the whole house to roll. I guess. The only thing I'm concerned with is missing, right? Like you don't want to, go there and fire it. Don't put it back, that's all. I think we gotta try it, you gotta try it. Okay, we'll make sure. Yeah, just make sure contact. Go, partners, go.
I think Carter Rycroft and Don Bartlett have a great sense of we can put this game one notch closer to a win if we make this double. And we got an opportunity. Let's give it a go.
Kevin Martin's final stone, attempting to remove both red rocks.
Hart's looking good. Hart!
How about the angle? There it is!
Perfect contact. Great shot.
Carter Rycroft lost his gripper.
He was fortunate when he lost that gripper that he didn't lose his balance as well.
The gripper is removable, putting on the sliding part of your shoe. You run along on your sweep, and if that comes off, you lose your balance completely. You're very lucky that it didn't burn the rock.
You look at Lindholm thinking he's trying to decide whether or not to take one or to blank. And it looks like he's going to take one. Strike line is very surprising.
Jag är mer inne egentligen på nollan, men det är helt okej att ta och dra in, men det är helt okej att nolla.
Well, he's put his gripper back on, but I think Kevin Martin owes both Rycroft and Bartlett a big thank you for talking him into changing his strategy on the ninth end.
Well, it's pretty scary there. When the gripper falls off, you'd hate to slip and touch the stone. And I'm sure Kevin had a bit of a scare when Carter went down.
The old question. You want to be down by 2 heading home with last rock?
Get up!
Or down by 1 without last rock and trying to steal? It will be down by 2 with last rock. So it's Lindholm trailing by a deuce with 1 end remaining.
Good evening, Batman.
Alfred.
I've stepped up safety in the Batmobile, sir.
Really?
Should a villain steal it, someone will track it. If your airbag goes off, an advisor will assist you. If you're stranded, satellites will help locate you.
And where have you put all these things?
Just press the OnStar button, sir.
Well done, Alfred.
My pleasure, sir.
OnStar, how can I help you, Batman?
The problem with looking for a job is that a job isn't actually what you're looking for. What you're really looking for is a chance to be happy, a chance to be something you've always wanted to be. So all you seekers, all you searchers, all you people who know that absolutely no one ever looked back on their life and said, gee, I wish I'd played it safe. All of you, get on board. Let's go. Post your resume today on monster.ca. You the monster!
Home Depot has employed more Olympic hopefuls than any other company in the world. Home Depot, proud sponsor of the Canadian Olympic team.
I felt like she was in the house.
Emily's dead, Joe.
Between this world and the next, a bridge is about to be crossed. A message is about to be passed. And a journey is about to begin. at theaters Friday.
Ontario is a great place to live, work, and raise a family.
That's why it keeps growing.
As we grow, we're going to need more electricity.
A continuous supply for the future.
And more companies generating electricity.
On May 1st, Ontario is opening its electricity market to competition. This means you can either stay with your current supplier at market rates, or you can choose to buy your electricity at a fixed rate from a retailer licensed by the Ontario Energy Board. The choice is up to you. For more information or a free brochure, call us. We're here to help.
The 2002 Olympic Winter Games on CBC. Brought to you by Via Rea. Enjoy the Renaissance.
It's been quite a day of hockey action already, with Sweden bowing to Belarus, Russia defeating the Czech Republic. Tonight at 10:15 on the CBC network, it will be Canada and Finland in another quarter-final game. That's 10:15 Eastern tonight, 7:15 Pacific time, Canada-Finland quarter-final hockey action. Canada leading 6-4, playing this 10th end. A deliberate blank by Peja Lindholm on 9 to retain last rock advantage into the 10th.
Fart. Känns lång. Känns lång. Rent. Ja, hela vägen. Hela vägen. Stenhårt, stenhårt. Snyggt grabbar. Bra jobbat.
2 corner guards now for Sweden.
And the Team Martin's prowess at making doubles in the rings includes doubling off guard. So Team Sweden has to be very careful in the positioning of these of the second corner guard.
Carter Rycroft's got one. He just rubbed the other.
Good throw.
Carter is very hard on himself. He chastises himself if he doesn't make what he considers to be the perfect shot.
Well, he knows that they need the perfect shot here to win this game, and every shot at this stage is so critical.
Well, to avoid the extra end as well, with the 4-rock rule, and as you said, Mike, if they keep continuing to put their guards perfect and Canada can't double peel, they'll have a chance to come behind one of them and set up to get their 2 points to go to an extra end.
That was well done. No double available.
During round-robin competition, Sweden was able to generate 13 deuces. They desperately need one here to force an extra end. They also had a chance at a perfect 8-ender in their game against Finland.
Yep. Back it off! Back it off!
Walchuk doesn't want to leave his shooter there, and it rolls out of play. Norway and Switzerland are going to an extra end after a steal of one by Paul Trulson on 10. Andreas Schwaller trying to come through the port to the shot stone. Almost raised the red stone onto the yellow stone at the side of the 12. Had he done that, it would have been a steal of 2 and a berth in the final.
And a disastrous finish to bump your opponent in to give them the winning point in the semifinal of the Olympics would have been something to forget. Lindholm finally coming in, using this corner guard.
So lots of room by the guard, Mike.
Take it back, take it deep.
No lack of intensity in this Canadian men's team, though. They're playing these peels, which, as Mike says, pretty standard fare for them. But Walchuk on the ice, on his stomach, screaming at the sweepers to sweep as hard as they can.
Stone in the rings is wide open. Maybe a ½ inch or so buried.
Yep. Clean. Yep. Hard. Clean. Hard. I got it.
Walchuk has done his job.
Sec Peter.
Again, lots of respect from this team. Peter Lindholm came down the end of the ice after this 9th end and said, good shot, Kevin.
Much tighter line this time.
And lighter as well.
He's going to be all over the stone out front.
And that could be game over for Sweden.
Yeah, we could still scratch him in that way.
Yeah, I know, but
it's only Peter's first shot. Why don't we throw one on the button? Yeah, it's not bad.
huh? Oh yeah, he's only got. Yeah,
He's gonna freeze then.
that's fine.
Oh, that's fine. I don't want to scratch them in. Okay, that'd
Right
be
here?
ridiculous. You like
Right
this?
here.
Sure, bet.
Okay. Where do you want it? Here.
Well, they think Peter's going to freeze, and I don't think he
Just look
will.
at
I
the
think he'll be
double
going
one.
around that corner guard.
So scary, you know. I'm just wondering, Donnie B.
I'm surprised they're not playing the double
peel
peel.
on the top one. Yeah, he can't. It's tough to get around that. Can't get around that back. It's pretty well impossible. It's
I
pretty
know
easy
what.
peel. I play the intern. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? We used guard with our last one. If he does make a perfect come around. Well, he may not even make the come around.
This easy peel's gonna be half rock, right? Third. Yeah. Make the thick peel. Yeah. That's tough to get around. Yeah, it is. Like, go intern right here. Yeah, let's make it. Go. Otherwise, we're forcing ourselves to make a perfect guard, and he can make an angle race too anyway. Exactly.
Kevin's mother, Bev, who has her head down, has said it's very difficult watching Kevin curl. Sometimes she gets up and walks around when it gets down to a dramatic situation in any game, and it is certainly dramatic here in this semifinal contest against Peja Lindholm of Sweden.
Whoa.
On back on this one.
Whoa. Clean.
Kevin was talking about not wanting to scratch Lindholm in, and his reference was to just nudging the red stone as he peeled the top one and pushing it into the rings.
And as unlikely as that is, you know, in the 10th end of the Olympic semifinal, all of these thoughts come into your mind. And again, you go to a regular cash field, that thought would never have crossed your mind in a million years. But you just have all these worst case scenarios running around in your head with the pressure on.
We anticipated this would be a great game, Sweden and Canada in the semifinal matchup, and it has unfolded that way. Can he hide this stone behind the corner guard? Kevin Martin feels he can get to it. And if he does, Kevin Martin will advance to the gold medal game against either Paul Trulson or Andreas Schwaller.
It's about 2/3 open. It's a good shot at it there.
One of the biggest shots of Kevin Martin's curling career.
Whoa! Carl!
He's got it. It's over. Canada moves on to the gold medal game.
Good shot.
So Kevin Martin has taken a huge step to exercising the ghosts from international competition in the past. A loss in the 91 Worlds, a loss in the 97 Worlds, a loss in the 86 Juniors. Diane Nelson applauds the potential gold medalists. Kevin Martin, Don Walchuk, Carter Rycroft, and Don Bartlett move on to the gold medal game against either Norway or Switzerland.